Hey, I had a conversation yesterday with an investor, potential investor for Zerocracy. His name was Nick. And we were discussing why Zerocracy needs money. And he asked some questions, and I decided to record this video to address the questions he asked and to answer him. And maybe that video will be helpful for other investors who are going to join Zerocracy. I explained him how Zerocracy works. This is the platform where artificial intelligence helps programmers to organize themselves and connects them with the project sponsors in order to make sure that the project is managed way better than human managers can do that. And I explained that the objective, the goal, the mission of Zerocracy is to become a large platform where there will be thousands of projects and hundreds of thousands of programmers. And when there will be so many programmers on the platform and so many customers, we will be able to achieve a way higher quality and a way higher effectiveness than traditional teams can do now. He was listening, he was interested, he said that's a great idea, that's for the future, that's definitely what the world needs. And then he said, how about this? I have a mobile app which was created for me by a group of programmers last year, and they didn't finish it because of some reasons, so they were fired. So I have some Objective-C piece of code which needs to be finished. How about I give it to you, to your platform, and then you finish it, and if it works, then I will see that your platform actually works, and then I will become your investor. And I said no, and I can explain why. It seems that I didn't manage to explain you, Nick, correctly what Zerocracy does, or maybe you didn't understand it right, or maybe you're not the right type of investor for our business, or maybe we're not a good fit. I don't know, but it doesn't work that way. And I want to give you a metaphor. I want to compare that situation with a few other businesses which you know and which are successful right now. And now let's see whether it was possible for them to become successful if their investors would think the same way as you think now. Imagine Uber. Uber wanted to replace traditional taxi drivers by a platform where customers and service providers are coming from a cloud. They are not employees of the platform. They are from the market. Taxi drivers and customers. Imagine an Uber founder shows up in front of an investor asking for $100 million, or I don't know how much they were asking at the time of their start. And the investor would say, I would love to give you money, but first let's try to drive me from here to the airport and I'll pay you 20 bucks. Can you find me a driver? We don't have drivers at that point. We don't have customers at that point. We don't have enough resources. The platform doesn't have enough relationships between drivers and customers. So even if I find you the driver right now who would drive you from here to the airport, it will not prove that the platform will work when there will be 100,000 drivers. This one particular case of taking you from here to the airport doesn't prove anything for the larger scale. And the other way around, if the larger scale works, it doesn't mean that I can drive you to the airport. So these two cases are different. They're from different businesses and from different scales. Let's take Airbnb. If Airbnb founders would come to investors and say, we're building a platform where there will be thousands of users, of customers who need to stay for a few days somewhere, and then we have hundreds of thousands of places which are renting their apartments for that users, and investors would say, sure, how about I rent right now an apartment in New York in that location? And the Airbnb would say, we don't have a location at that particular place. And investors would say, that's bad, so you're not a business I would invest into. One specific case doesn't prove that the larger case, the larger scale will work. And the other way around. If this case doesn't work, doesn't mean that that one will not work. The same for us. If you want Objective-C code to be written, which is a legacy code, you need a specific team of people, which we don't have right now. We have Java, Ruby, and a little bit of Python. And we don't have anyone who would be interested to pick up the legacy project in Objective-C and continue. We just don't have that resources now. But it doesn't prove that when the platform gets large, gets big, we will not be able to do that. And if I manage to do it now, it doesn't prove that the larger scale will work. Yes, I can find right now a group of Objective-C programmers. I can somehow put them together. I can somehow convince them and motivate them to do one project for you. But it's not going to mean that my platform, Zerocracy, will be able to do the same with thousands of projects. A different set of skills, a different set of approaches will be required for a larger scale. In your one small project, we can do that, but it's not going to prove anything to you. So if you want us to prove it that way, you're basically not an investor for us. You're not looking to become an investor. You just want your Objective-C code to be completed. And that's why I said no to Nick. I'm sorry, we're not going to do that, but I'm addressing this video to future investors. Think that way. We're not a software company who is going to help you or a number of projects tomorrow to develop their software. We're building a community, a large community of developers, of programmers and their clients and their project sponsors. And then we put the artificial intelligence on top of that community and help that community to develop software in a better, more transparent and more effective way. That's what we do. We need investors who will understand that, the scale of that idea is huge, is large, it's the size of the world, and they will join us. So sorry, Nick, no to you, but thanks for stopping by. Thanks everybody for listening. Stay tuned.